entertainment, current events, and Hollywood. Don't miss Creator to Creators, hosted by the filmmaker Meosha, known for the Shudder hit documentary Horror Noir and the acclaimed film Anatomy of an Anti-Hero, Redemption. This show features interviews with filmmakers and creatives from around the globe. Join the fun with guest celebrities and gain valuable insights. Subscribe now and follow Creator to Creators.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Creator to Creators. Today we are back with a special guest who was on the show, but the conversation was so short, but it's so good. Welcome back.
Hi, Meosha. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely, absolutely. Really quick for those who don't know about your background, give us a little bit about like what you do and share with the audience, you know, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm an artist, author, and curator in Germany. I live in Germany. I do, quantum healing with art. That's a special field for me where I like to connect through meditation and being creative in diverse areas of creativity to the field and help raise the vibrations. So people are more relaxed and connected with their soul.
Do you feel like a lot of people now are pretty disconnected with their souls, living in
Yes,
this day and age?
Like we are facing a global mental health crisis, no doubt about that. I think people are awakening more and more, realizing that there are many lies out there which are not so healthy, and it's not loving to ourselves to live in certain ways.
That's so true. I think it's so important, especially in being a creative, and the field that we're doing. Um, it's good to always make sure your mental health is balanced, because in order to do what we do, we have to make sure that we're on that our frequency, right? Our is balanced, and it's not all chaotic and all over the place, because it takes a lot to do what you do, to create that kind of painting that you're sitting in front of right now, you know? So that's really good. Um, it's interesting because I feel like today's, day and age that we're living in, a lot of people are on social media. I blame social media personally for all the problems that we're facing as far as like being disconnected, not really connecting to self because everybody's scrolling all the time. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely need more education about media competency, and I think it's always about the balance, right? We can use social media as a platform to promote good things, but it's like everything, right? If you overconsume, it's not healthy anymore, and you get disconnected with who you are and with the reality, that there is a world out there. Of course, virtual world is also a reality, but if it becomes like the only reality, then you lose the notion of who we are. So we are creators, right? That's a podcast, creator to creator. So literally everybody is a creator. And if I decide, because it's my decision, I can say, no, I won't go scroll all day. I will just set a time, 20 minutes, and the rest of the time I will create my life consciously.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Do you think your art, like you said, well, yes, when the more you understand of self, um, that your art comes from who you are or who you had to become to survive?
Yes, definitely. It's a self-healing path I've been on for, yeah, it's the whole life, it's a journey. I mean, already the birth is a trauma, right? So mm, I would say what I do is my own method to cope with things
Hmm.
and to find back to the connection with my soul and not identify so much with the layers, these programs from the culture, the family, friends, your surrounding media,
Yeah.
that you start believing that's me, right? So it's about cracking these layers open, yeah, and break through.
That's really interesting you say that because like if sometimes I wonder if I met myself outside of film, would I fully understand myself, if that makes sense? Because I think
Mm-hmm.
so a big part of us as creatives, I feel like well, at least the creatives I've met, some of them, not everybody, but a lot of people believe that your creativeness, what you do is everything. Like that's who you are, that's your purpose. But I believe that's just part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we are actors, literally. We have different roles, you can be a daughter, you can be a mother, you can be a podcast host, you can be an actor, and it's about being aware of choosing what is good for you, like do what you love, basically. Be authentic, and I mean, sometimes we have to do things to finance, what we love to do, right? And that's fine, but just don't go identify yourself, with being a stressed 9 to 5 victim, and
Mm.
assume this narrative. Yeah.
Have you
Mm.
ever doubted your spiritual experiences?
No. No, because they are so profound.
Ah.
Um, they made me rather doubt the reality out there, the 3D reality. That's definitely the takeaway when you meditate and yeah, have mystical experiences and encounters with mm, other dimensions or higher energies, then you realize, yeah, we can perceive only such a small part of actually what it is. And we don't know. We have no clue where we are, who we are, what are we doing here. So I think it's simple, just be good to yourself, be kind, be your best self, and create something that serves the world.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. Um, and I agree with you. I think if we always it's like what my dad said. I grew up a preacher's kid. My dad was in the church. He's a pastor, so he knows the Bible from the beginning to the end. And he's like a walking encyclopedia for the Bible. Like he knows it front and back. And growing up, that was what he was so he strived to be really good at that. And it became his identity. And I think like you said, it's good to strive and have all, to be spiritual, but I think it's also a balance because it can become a lot if you're always in the clouds. I think a part of us
Yes,
as
you need
humans, we
to
have to
ground
also balance
yourself.
it, you know?
Yes, we need to be grounded, also connected, definitely. And that's why it's so important to serve, people who need whatever your service is. So yeah, that's why I love to connect people, like with the book Souls United in Art, to help others actually tell their story, and by telling it they realize, how far they've come, how important their inspiring stories are. That's definitely a way how we can help others, by being an example or giving them examples um, of how transformative it is to be creative.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. I love that. And speaking about your book, and helping others, you've recently just dropped a trailer. You tell us a bit about it and tell the audience, what it's about, and congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you. Yes. So when I started this book project, I never ever thought that I will become a film director one day, right? But this is just like, wow, such a dream. And it's so much fun. I really love to do this. The trailer is actually like the first movie I've put out there that I've done. And it's based on a vision I had in a meditation that, yeah, just came to me. And I saw that people are really loving the concept of the book, that it's an energy field bringing all these artists. There are 22 artists in the book together. They speak about their authentic story, how art helped them transform their trauma, and yeah, how creativity basically is a self-healing tool. And people loved it, came to me, and this idea came up. Yes, people these days are so visual. They get the story much more when it's visualized
Yep.
rather than go read, a book. So this came up, and I thought, oh my God, how am I supposed to do this? I have no idea about film industry, anything, right? Um, but I just persisted, and then at the end decided, okay, I will do this trailer myself. Yeah.
Congratulations. I
And
like
now
that.
and now it became, yeah, an important part also of my new position as network coordinator for the World Academy of Art and Science.
It's awesome. It's
Yeah.
awesome. I love that. Have you always been that person to, you know, because some people just, I think I believe personally that you can work on that, like that, but I think sometimes if you some people just have it or you don't. The tenacity, the drive of like, well, if I can't figure it out, well, if I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out kind of thing.
Yes.
So
Yes. I mean, it's like I feel I'm a channel. I'm doing this, to make the world the place we want, right? And it's like a mission. I'm on a mission, right? And I cannot stop, you know?
I love that.
Sometimes, yes, of course, there are moments where I have doubts and where I'm like, this is so big. Are you crazy? How can you do this? But then I just keep on going, and the help comes somehow. Somehow things turn out well. And if they don't, then I just need to switch or change
Yeah,
something. It's like recalibration. So I cannot stop. It's like if I stop this, then I stop breathing, you know?
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's how you know you're in your purpose, I think that,
Mhm.
and I think purpose is until you that purpose becomes, like you said, if something doesn't work out, you can pivot. There's, it's still a part of the purpose, something else, some different road. And I
Yeah.
love that. And congratulations again. I think it's so cool to that you put that in your own hands. You're like, I'm gonna edit this, I'm gonna put this out, and you did. And It
Yes,
opened up
and
that
it's
door.
becoming even bigger, these it's not limited like to these 22 artists that are in the book. They are like the start, the core, the base,
Yeah.
and then it's growing larger and larger. So yeah, there will be a podcast too, Art
Okay.
Heals,
Awesome.
with story
I,
about yeah, the transformative power of art, of creators from all over the world. And I hope I'll be your host next time.
oh, I would love to. I'd love to. I gotta say, it's interesting about, what you're doing because I feel like being in such a there's so much going on around us in the world. And I think a lot of people, everybody deals with trauma, more extreme than others. But I feel like at the end of the day, if you want to deal with it and heal from your trauma, there are ways to do that. And right, art is the way to start that healing process. But do you find, and I'm curious, that a lot of people say they want to heal, they want to do better, but their actions says another thing.
Yes, of course. I mean, we all have the opportunity to make the best out of this gift that life is, right? I can choose consciously what I focus on, and that's how I create with the power of my consciousness, with my awareness, and becoming aware of all the things that are not going so well or that um, represent suffering, of course, is not so comfortable. Nobody wants, to face the pain and mm, sure, it's easier to scroll all the time on your phone, but at the end, I think it's not helping anyone because running away or closing your eyes from what needs to be repaired in a way or changed um, makes it even persist longer. Yeah. So, of course, the first step to stand up and go and change something requires the most energy. But if I take the decision, I will stand up now and for myself, for the world and the energy that I want to live in and that I want to leave behind when I go one day from this life for the next generations, it requires self-responsibility, you know? So switching from the victim to the creator, literally. And yeah, it can be uncomfortable. You have to face some, things. But at the end, you will get the reward. Because already taking this decision feels so good and feels right. And the more people do it, the stronger it becomes, this energy and the collective, right? And the more we are, that's why I see how important it is to create um, collectives of artists, because this collective energy is like you jump in a wave and it's bearing you. You don't have to struggle on your own, in your corner doing on, everything. So as there are many of us, and if we like collaborate, what can happen to us?
I love
So
that.
community, I think it's all about creating communities. Yeah.
Yeah. Because what you're doing, like you said, it transcends art. You're touching a soul, and that person
Mhm.
touching a soul, and that person just like a ripple effect, like you said. And even long before you're gone, that legacy of what you've left is going to be for someone else to pick up and maybe, run with that, however that looks like for them in that process. That's awesome. What I was going to ask you, what is, do you ever think about that? What is legacy to you?
Legacy. Hmm. Oh, that's a big question. Legacy. I mean, as a historian, I have been working on the field of cultural heritage. So, yes, seen from this background, we've been researching this question, what is actually cultural heritage? So, yeah, I mean, the result of all these years of research is actually what we choose to forward as worthy, you know. We as creators in the present choose, like, I can go choose a painting from Picasso, and give it a value. So this is like a message for the next generation. This value is given to you, as something that is valuable, that represents the virtues that we have built the society on. So legacy is not like a fixed thing, but it's a choice. It's what we choose that we want to forward to the next generation, as something important, as something to be treasured and taken care of. Yeah.
I like that. I never thought of it in that way. That's very interesting. Have you has there been, well, obviously there has, I'm sure. Has there been moments in the journey that like things that you had to work through, your trauma that
Mm.
brought things
Oh,
up
yeah.
that, huh? Say it again.
Yeah, I'm still working on it. It's
Yeah.
never ending story.
It's a never-ending story. Isn't that something? Like the journey of healing and self-discovery is it just never ends. I think it's till the day we die, right? It's like, wow.
Yes, yes, definitely. I mean, we have, especially being a woman already, there are so many things that are imposed and placed on you. So definitely for me, a part of my self-healing journey is my relationship to the masculine and to the feminine. Already this, categories are, yeah, there are so many prejudices, so many conceptions that, um, yeah, I would like to be more dissolved. I like, the more fluidity in this. The soul has no gender. Why do I have always to identify with this role or that role? Or what does it mean to be a mother? Like all these sacrifices actually, that are imposed on you. I would prefer definitely a society where children are more raised in a community than, like in separated cells that are the families. I think this is a very, yeah, tough topic. Yeah.
I love that. It's so interesting because I was just talking to a friend of mine and I'm a kind of person I'm a very direct person in my friendships.
Yeah.
And I think it's been
Hmm.
good and bad over the years. Sometimes people say I'm too direct. And then some people say, you know, that's why people leave. They can't take the heat. And I'm a kind of person that's like, if you're in my life, I want you to tell me exactly what it is because I feel like that you really honestly care. But we live in a society where people like to we're very passive aggressive, like we're very passive and kind and nothing's wrong with that. But I feel like we kind of walk away from being direct. So in that sense, I did tell a friend something that they were doing, you know, um, and I pointed it out and I said, are you sure you want, because, they said they want to go to therapy, they want to just, get better. And I'm like, well, why haven't you gone yet? Why haven't you made that first step? And, is it my job?
Mm.
No. but I feel like if I see the behaviors of what you're doing are negative, um, I think I told this person, and so I'm curious, can everybody or do you think some people just block the healing process for themselves? Or is everybody capable of
Well,
healing?
I think there is no right or wrong.
Okay.
Everybody has their own path, right? Um, so first, what I feel I have to say is like, yes, it's good to be, genuine, but you have to try to do it in a way that is not hurtful,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To the person.
Yeah.
Because like you yourself, you don't want that someone like puts you the mirror like this, it can be shocking. So the best way is just to ask questions.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like, questions. And mm, when the time is right, I think the people open at their own timing. And when there's a saying like, when the pupil is ready, the teacher will appear, right? So
Yeah.
that's all about being in the right energy. And also you have to be aware that if somebody is like totally blind to the what can I say? I mean, the spiritual teachings and being aware of energy and how we create with our consciousness, then it could be very harming, for him to wake him up like this, because they would not be able to compensate all of this information at once,
Mm.
right? So it's like step by step process. The child needs to be mature enough,
Hmm.
yeah, to digest, yeah, to digest certain things. And yeah, we can lead them by being an example.
Yeah. You talk about transcending the illusion of separation, right? What's something
Mhm.
that still makes you feel separated?
I don't feel separated. I
Well,
feel
that's
very
good.
connected.
That's good.
Yeah, I feel very connected. And I mean, it's work. I work on this every day. I
Good.
meditate. Um, Separated. Yeah, I mean, when I see suffering out there, then that's definitely, um, yeah, I mean, wars or yeah, children, suffering. This is something that definitely um, I would love to help to change. Yes. And that's also why in my um, work as of the Art Heals network coordinator for the World Academy of Art and Science, is a main objective to include children
That's
and
great.
people, to offer them a safe space where they can just be creative, whether it's painting, singing, dancing, acting, um, where it's very easy actually, to be in a good vibration when you create, because the analytical mind will be switched off after a while when you relax, into the action. Um, so I think that's a very easy way to help people connect to themselves, to the community, and find a place in them where you don't need so much. You feel whole. And it's for free, everybody can take a paper and a pen, right? Or go singing, right? Or just dance. It's
Yeah.
free. So yeah, that's my mission, to help people find this place and spread it. Yeah.
And you're doing that. And you're doing that for sure. And I mean, it's so nice to see, that what you're doing and the people and the lives that you're touching. And also with this documentary, I'm excited to for you. Um, with that, if I may ask, do you think you want to direct the documentary, even though you haven't, gotten to that space? You're
Yeah,
like-
that's everything in the unknown. I'm
Mm,
totally in the unknown. Right now, I'm just super happy that I did this trailer,
yeah.
and we will see what will come. Definitely, I will be creative producer, that's for
Right.
sure.
All right.
But yeah, maybe it would be good to find someone with more experience. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that you have that on your resume now. I'm sure I'll see some more documentaries down the line. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the
Yes.
creative process because there's no one, there's no you don't put yourself in a box, and I love that. Like I recently I'm actually working on a project right now that I've never done it before, ever. And it's a part of
Uh-huh.
an extension of film, but I when I got the job offer to do it, it was like it's not even something on my resume. So I was like, okay, I wonder why this came to me. But after a while sitting with it, I'm a kind of person that's like, yeah, why not? Like I know about this. I just never been asked to do it. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm actually doing it. And I made my first draft and sent it off to them. And they were like, wow, they were like, we really love it, and this is really good. And I was shocked at my own potential in that way. So I learned something new about myself. I think, putting yourself in a box can stop you from many opportunities that can just be more fulfilling than the thing
Yes.
that we
So, but what is it?
imagine.
What is it?
Um,
I'm
it,
curious now. What is it?
I was like a film consultant on
Ah,
this project, and I never done that. I've only been more the technical side of film. So went to school for cinematography, went to the directing side and those kind of things. And you know how they say you have to create your own opportunities. So that's kind of, with all the films. And then that opportunity was, and it's crazy. It's like and also never downplay yourself because you just never know who's watching your stuff and want to hire you because they see something in you that maybe you don't see in yourself. So it's kind of
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I have the feeling we're gonna collaborate on something. Hmm.
Definitely. I
I like your energy.
oh, thank you. And I like yours too. Um, I would love that. I'd love that. Your mouth to God's ears. Amen. Um, thank you so much for coming on again. And also, where can people, find your stuff and reach out to you directly to get in contact with you?
Yes. So I have a webpage, Jana Nirvana, Jana, nirvana.com, where you can find basically all informations. And of course, I'm also on Instagram and Facebook and all these platforms. And yeah, just follow whatever resonates with you.
I love that. I love that. Thank you again. It's always a pleasure. And yeah, come back anytime. Always welcome to come back
Yeah,
anytime.
I will.
And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Bye.